Was a hell of a game last night. I don't know what's going on with week one, but the night games have been drunk.
Yes.
I mean, started out with Cowboys, Eagles, then we got Chiefs, Chargers, Sunday night, Ravens, Bills, and then last night, it was a tale of two halves. I mean, it's like Caleb Williams and J.J. McCarthy decided that they were both going to take turns playing the role of hero for their team.
Unfortunately for
Caleb, exactly. Unfortunately for Caleb, J.J. played his best when it mattered the most, which is in the second half and particularly in that fourth quarter. So credit to them, the Minnesota Vikings, for being able to find a way to win, because it was ugly to start out that game for J.J. and the offense.
And it was great for Caleb and the Bears. They were looking great to start the game. As you mentioned, it seemed like they switched bodies, Freaky Friday situation in the end. But we didn't know what to expect from J.J. McCarthy. He hadn't played in 609 days. 609 days since January 8th, 2024. And while we knew the Vikings, who had won 14 games last season, were returning a lot of that core, we believe in that coaching staff. Not only just Brian Flores on the defensive side of the ball, but specifically Kevin O'Connell to get the best out of his quarterbacks. It was still a big question mark heading into this season, and you're right, CC, at the outset of that game did not look great for J.J. McCarthy, but boy, did he turn it on when it mattered the most.
Yeah, and his team was down 17-6 in the fourth quarter. They scored 21 unanswered points thanks to 2 J.J. McCarthy touchdown passes, 1 J.J. McCarthy touchdown run. He was 13 of 20 in the game, 143 yards, 2 touchdowns. Did have that interception, which was a pick 6, and he had 48 yards passing in the first half. No third down conversions until the fourth quarter of the game.
The biggest play he had in the passing game in the first half was a pass interference penalty trying to target Justin Jefferson. That was the biggest play he had. Now, he did come back and make a big-time throw on the drive to set up a field goal before halftime, but it was bad. And I'm not quite sure how that kid got off the mat. I really don't. After he throws the pick 6 to Deshaun Wright, it looked like it was going to snowball. As a matter of fact, Joe Buck said as much on the Monday Night Football broadcast. And yet, somehow, some way, Kevin O'Connell was able to get through to him. They got Jordan Mason in the running game going. Credit to you, because you pointed out how impactful you thought he was going to be when the Minnesota Vikings got him.
Do with the Niners.
But once they started getting that ground game going, it seemed to settle J.J. down, and the passing game opened up from there. He had a laser that he threw in the end zone to Justin Jefferson for a touchdown, and from there you could start to see him get more confident with each drive. We literally watched J.J. McCarthy grow up before our eyes in his first start. And to be able to mount a double-digit deficit comeback on the road against a division rival week one in your regular season debut, that's a hell of a thing, man.
First debut ever for a quarterback with 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. First debut ever with a double-digit comeback for a quarterback in the fourth quarter of an NFL football game all time. You ask, I don't know what got into him. You know, when you watch Jim Harbaugh at times, and we've talked to him on our show, whether it's watching him coach, watching him in interviews, or back in the day watching him play. And I say this complimentary out of envy. Harbaugh's got a little crazy in him. I think this guy, his quarterback's got a little crazy in him. I think there's a little, and I'm saying this in a way that is, I'm jealous of the ability to be like, screw it. You think we're going to lose this game? I'm going to bring everybody back, from the face paint to the way he plays. No, seriously, like he talks about his the quotes, war paint.
His quotes, yeah.
I mean, I'm not making a joke about that.
No, and the way he was rallying his teammates when they were down, they spoke about it after the game, how he was like, it's about to pop, and they're like, hey, you're 22, this is your first game, but he was right, and they talked about the conviction that he had when he was rallying them on the sidelines, to your point, Ev.
Since sophomore year of high school, 64-3 his teams are in games that he has started at the quarterback position. It is too easy to say after one game, the young man's just a winner. But up until this point in his life, that's all he's ever done. And he's continuing that, at least in his first moment last night.
Well, I think it matters from this standpoint. He has something innate in him, that there's an intangible there that you can't quantify with any type of test at the combine, and it's really hard to figure out even just sitting down and interviewing him. But if you look at the entire body of work, you know that this guy has something to him. We talk about the it factor, the X factor. J.J. McCarthy oozes that, and it came out in that fourth quarter in Soldier Field. And you just wonder now how that's going to translate to this team's potential success, because you saw as he started to come alive, that defense started feasting on the Chicago Bears offensive line. I mean, you saw Andrew Van Ginkel and Jonathan Gennard and Javon Hargrave, who came over from the San Francisco 49ers, getting on the act. I thought Javon Hargrave was going to kill Caleb Williams in a sack. I thought he was going to kill him. I mean, you talk about a 350-pound man landing on a quarterback. That's never a good thing.
Yeah.
But you started to see that unit fly around. And so it really was palpable, the impact that J.J. McCarthy's performance had on the entire team. Not just on the offense, but on the entire team, even on special teams. The punt returns that they were getting all night long. I mean, just the kid has got something to him, and that game, that performance, gives the other 52 guys in the locker room something to believe in when they hit that inevitable adversity that every team goes through throughout a season.
Yeah, a good data point for them to reflect back on, especially when the organization decides to move on from a quarterback that won 14 games for you last season in lieu of J.J. McCarthy. And, you know, he obviously makes sure that physically he's ready, but we're talking about his attitude, his mentality. He pours a lot into the mental side of his game, too. There's a great piece up at ESPN.com that Kevin Seifert wrote about the eye black, as you mentioned, the meditations that he does before the game, his song, Bob Marley, that he listens to. But there's a quote in that piece from his receiver, Justin Jefferson, that I think really encapsulates everything that we're talking about today. He says about J.J. McCarthy, he definitely has the winning attitude, the dog mentality, just that killer mode. And we saw it last night.
Yeah, and it's amazing how different everything was in the first half and the second half, because I sent everybody a text on our Unsportsmanlike group chat referencing Tom Brady years ago on the Sharpe on HBO with LeBron, when he'd be telling the story, and I think now we learn it was the Raiders, if I'm not mistaken, ironically, the team that he now is a part owner of, that they kept that guy over me, and I think it was about Derek Carr. And Aaron Rodgers had to be watching that first half. We all know he wanted to be a Minnesota Viking. I think he's thrilled to be with the Steelers now, but he wanted to be a Viking. Saying to himself, they kept that guy over me, or they wanted that guy over me, because he was awful in the first half. But here's the thing, in its simplest form, when we think about the best head coaches in the NFL, 4 quarterbacks, Kevin O'Connell's a top 5 guy on that list.
No doubt.
Right. Okay.
May even be higher.
Jim Harbaugh is probably also on that list. Okay.
Kyle Shanahan,
Andy Reid, obviously. At some point, and it's only one game, but at some point we have to take a step back and say, wait a minute. So a Jim Harbaugh coached player in college that Kevin O'Connell trades up for, that Kevin O'Connell said goodbye to a clear-cut starter in Sam Darnold for, is good, that shouldn't surprise us. And I have to admit, I sat here yesterday saying, I have no idea what to expect from this team, and maybe egg on my face, maybe I should have expected immediate good play from a guy that has never been bad. In J.J. McCarthy.
I mean, if you would have expected that, you would have been sorely disappointed based on the first half that he had.
No doubt. I understand.
It 50 yards passing.
Yeah, it looked bad.
It was bad. It was awful.
And Caleb looked great, conversely.
You can't win an NFL game playing quarterback the way that J.J. McCarthy did through the first 2.5, 3 quarters of that game.
Yeah.
You just can't.
So what does this tell you now about the rest of the season with the Minnesota Vikings? We're going to get to the Bears part.
Well, we said coming into that game yesterday that J.J. McCarthy has maybe the widest degree of variance of any player that we were going to see in week 1. We just didn't know what to expect. He redshirted last year, but it wasn't really a redshirt year because he had the injury. He was working his way back from that. We just didn't know the player that we were going to see. And I think in that game, we saw the entirety of the spectrum, the variance that we talked about, from the bad to the good. It's interesting because usually when it comes to young quarterbacks, when they have those types of performances that snowball early, it takes them a second to be able to bounce back. Hell, they had to bench Bryce Young. It took him half a season last year to bounce back.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that was his second year in the NFL. So you're wondering, for J.J. McCarthy, after that first half, are the guys around him going to shut down because they don't believe that the quarterback is capable of turning it around in this game? But it didn't happen. The guys didn't quit. The defense kept them in it long enough for the offense to find their footing. And the fact that they didn't quit is a good sign, not only that Kevin McConnell is a good coach, but also that they believed in their quarterback. And I go back to something that Justin Jefferson said earlier on in the offseason. He said, we're going to have to be patient with JJ. You could see that patience throughout the team, throughout that game. Justin Jefferson had every right to be frustrated after that first half, knowing that he's the best receiver in the NFL. Every right to be frustrated, but he didn't quit. That defense had every right to be frustrated because the offense was giving them nothing. Didn't quit. Special teams, same thing. They kept fighting. They kept scrapping. It's revealing of the sports character of that locker room, and it also reveals, we also saw the revelation of the character of J.J. McCarthy. And that's a good sign. Now, I ain't sitting there saying that they're going to win 14 games like they did last year, but the Minnesota Vikings can have hope that they can once again be a playoff team because of what we saw from J.J. McCarthy last night.
They might not win 14 games, but they might be the team that we slept on the most in the NFC because of the question mark with J.J. McCarthy. And as much as we hype up Kevin O'Connell, we simultaneously don't give him the benefit of the doubt that we do with other people. Like, if we looked at the body of work with Sam Darnold and with Kirk Cousins, and we just said, we are going to believe that he's going to extract this out of J.J. McCarthy too. We always framed it as a question, and people would be hesitant to go in with the Vikings because they didn't know about J.J. McCarthy. We got to always give him the benefit of the doubt now with quarterback. Now, obviously, it's one game. It's a small sample size. But from what you saw, he clearly had him ready to play. And he got the best out of him when it mattered the most. And I think you said yesterday that the Vikings were the biggest X factor, right? Was that you that said that yesterday? Or did I make that up? I don't know if I said X,
like unknown.
Unknown, the biggest unknown, yeah. And think about that they won 14 games last year. They are returning a lot of the same players. They have the coaching staff with continuity, and now they may have found somebody at quarterback that has that killer instinct and can get it done. We've been sleeping on them.
Well, there's another side to this game. The Chicago Bears.
Pacheco. The speed on display. He's in. Pacheco, touchdown KC. Big play out of the running game as the back accelerates all the way to the house for the rushing touchdown.
And Mike, when we talk about burst, that's what we're talking about. And they told us all week, be ready for this guy. He's got something special to him, and that long touchdown there is exactly what they're talking about.
Here's the Chiefs and Mahomes lining up to add on two more. They'll run with Pacheco. And he's going to go backwards on that one. They take him down back at the 6-yard line.
I don't love the call. I mean, all week you practice these gotta-have-it plays. Every call sheet, Mike, has 3 or 4 plays that are down here in the goal line that could also be used as 2-point plays. I think to simply turn it around and just hand the ball to your running back, gotta be a little bit more creative. That's a big missed opportunity.
So now it's Butker following the touchdown to send this one away. A return now from the 4. And he'll be brought down just beyond the 25-yard line. Here's the San Francisco offense ready to take possession of the ball once more. The deficit is double digits, so work to do as they begin this drive with 1st and 10. To throw, Purdy. They'll try to set up the screen to McCaffrey. That's a nice pickup on a 1st down throw. It's a gain of 8. The Niners will use the first of their timeouts. The stoppage comes with just over a minute to play in this one. Throwing on 2nd down is Purdy. That's caught by McCaffrey. Taken down after a gain of 3, but that is good enough for a 1st down. He's going to send it downfield for Ayuk, and that is brought in. And this is going to be a touchdown. Hold everything. They are not done yet. They find the end zone through the air. Greg, that is one of the most popular plays because It works so often.
You're right, Mike. We see it all the time. It's a 4 vertical concept. But the key is you've got to stretch the defense and put pressure on the secondary. That's exactly what they were able to do here. They take advantage, and they go deep for 6.
Moody now for the extra point. He gets it to go, and the 49ers have cut the deficit to 5.
49ers 36.
A one-score game late, and you figure they got to have this one as they'll try an onside kick. Past midfield.
With the rule changes on kickoff, Mike, it's just so hard to really expect to recover an onside kick nowadays. There's a lot of people pushing for kind of a radical change to this. Hey, can we make it 4th and 15? Offense gets the go. If they convert it, they keep the ball. I'm not sure that ever happens, but we can see here an onside kick, not much of a chance. And all you can do at this point, Mike, is just really marvel at how well he's been able to run the ball. And throughout the course of the game, they've certainly not been shy in giving it to him, and I think he's held up his side of the bargain.
Timeout 49ers. That is their second. And they'll stop it with a little over 30 left in the game. 2nd and 11. On the ground, here's Pacheco. The tackle is going to be made down at the 40-yard line. The Niners will use their 3rd and final timeout, and they'll stop it with 27 seconds remaining on the clock. They'll come up 1st and 10 at the 40. They'll stay on the ground and stay with Pacheco. And they bring him down, but not until they get inside the 30-yard line. That's 11 yards again, 2 plays in a row. And another 1st down. Victory formation here as he's down to a knee.